Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Dying Breed podcast. It's been a while since I dropped something here. Um, that's because I just don't want to be dropping for the sake of dropping. I only want to share things that I feel will be helpful and beneficial to this community. So yeah, before I get into it, I want to take out this opportunity to shout out to everybody that is going through a rough patch at the moment. We are all human beings, so we know for a fact that life is not a bed of roses. We all go through difficult times, rough patches. I was speaking to one of my friends lately, and he was telling me how difficult life was for him at the moment. And he even went as far as to say that he was suicidal. I hope he was joking about that. But at the same time, I know it can be hard sometimes. But I want to remind everyone that no matter how stormy or how dark the night gets, there will still be sunlight in the morning. You know, the storm will break and the sun will shine again. So hang in there, hang in there. No matter what you're going through, hang in there. No season lasts forever. Eventually, things are going to change in your favor and you enjoy and ball small. Not even small, you ball as much as you want. So keep the faith, keep surviving. Sometimes all you can do is survive. It's not every time that you have the luxury of thriving, but survival is a big deal. Remember, if you woke up this morning, nigga, you're winning in Two Chains voice. So get into it. Um, I wanted to review a book that I've read recently that got me thinking in a different kind of way. So that book is called The Millionaire Fastlane by Mj Demarco. Crack the code to wealth and live rich for a lifetime. So yeah, I've been reading some of these self-help books, majorly the ones that are focused on business, finance, and general health, fitness, and wealth, because that's the motto. Now, um, one criticism I have of most of these self-help books is that they all seem to, it's like most of these authors just go and read some source materials and all of them are basically saying the same things in different ways. It's like regurgitation of the same thing. But even at that, there are different ways of saying one thing. So when you're able to read and digest different people's perspective of the same subject, you have a deeper understanding of that subject because people see things differently and they are not wrong. There are different ways of understanding the same thing. And if you are lucky enough to be able to see things from different perspectives, you will have a deeper understanding of that particular topic. So yeah, MJ Demarco is a successful entrepreneur. He built his fortune in the internet boom. He built an internet company and sold it off. Now he's rich as fuck, and he's semi-retired or he's retired. He's just doing whatever he wants to do. He has also been a poor guy or a broke guy. He was a driver, cleaned toilet floors at some point, limo driver before he decided to go and build his internet company. So he has seen things from the two aspects of life. He has been a brokey and he's rich. So he has that ability to give you insights, having been on both sides of the fence. So yeah, if this book was a song, it would be a diss song, cause a diss track, cause basically it violated every most principles or values or information from other similar books that I've read. It paints things in a very different perspective from other books, other similar books that I've read, and I would like to share that with you. So, from MJ's view, he sees the wealth, like the journey of money, the journey to financial freedom, as literal journey to some place on the map. And now, to get to a place of the map, you have to go through the road. If you've seen a well-built road before, you will know that there is a sidewalk, there is a slow lane, and there is a fast lane. The sidewalk is always at the far right. That's the place pedestrians walk by. If you are on your leg, you don't walk on the place that cars are passing now. There's always these pavements that you have to walk on where you and other pedestrians be walking. And then the when it comes to the road, the third road, the lane to the right is in Nigerian roads, the slow lane. And then the lane to the left is the fast lane, where if you want to be moving fast, you have to overtake through the fast lane. So yeah, um, MJ is advising us to build wealth by utilizing the fast lane, by building wealth fast. According to MJ, it is possible to get rich quick, and it is best to get rich quick. So let's dive into it, and we'll start by defining the terminologies according to how SJ sees things, MJ sees things. So the sidewalk is characterized by a group of people, many people. It does not really depend. The side workers, it doesn't depend on your income bracket. You can be a millionaire and be in the sidewalk. You can be broke. Most brokies are in the sidewalk. You can be earning well and still be in the sidewalk. The major characteristic of the sidewalk is that you do not really have a plan for tomorrow. You are always thinking about today. You have this YOLO, you only live once approach to life. Um, you know, most of us are in the sidewalk, myself included. I think in this phase of my life, I'm still stuck in the sidewalk because let's be honest, you have to think about today now before you start thinking about tomorrow. Oh yeah, onye rinita be again we go the luxury of thinking about what your 5 years financial plan will be like and actually actualizing that. So we all start off in the sidewalk, but as you grow old and you mature, responsibilities begin to pile up and all that shit. So it's important to have a plan because responsibilities, especially financial responsibilities, are not expected to go down with age. They are expected to keep going up. And even though your earning ability is expected to keep going up, if you don't really have a plan, you find out that at some point in time you are going to be stranded because you cannot work forever. And when you stop working or whatever happens in between that, and you do not have a plan, a financial plan that can take care of you and your family, it's going to be wahala. That's why this topic is sensitive, and that's why I'm talking about it now. Because me self, I trying to find a way. So let's go. Yeah, another characteristics of the sidewalk is lifestyle servitude because most side workers are enslaved to their lifestyle. You work just to maintain that lifestyle. Fresh off school, you want to have a comfortable life, get a comfortable apartment, do this one, do that one, cars, all this stuff. And all these stuffs are high maintenance. At the end of the day, even if you are making money, you are earning salary, most of it is going to maintaining that lifestyle that you have. That's why most people that are stuck in on the sidewalk, they are always thinking about today, because most of their financial resources is going to maintaining a particular type of lifestyle. And that's what is called lifestyle servitude. You are literally a slave to your lifestyle when you are stuck in the sidewalk, because it does not even matter. There are so many people driving around G wagons, exotic cars, living in very sharp places, sharp locations, but they don't really have a plan. There's this tendency for your lifestyle to go up with your income, and that's where the danger lies. If you are making like 10K and you are a responsible person, let me say your lifestyle at that level is costing you 7K a month, and then you're able to save three, is reasonable. But you see the same person when he's earning something like 100K, you find out that his lifestyle has still gone up. He's driving a more expensive car now, living in a higher location, dating one expensive babe that is high maintenance, wearing chains. Not like any of this stuff is bad, but if you can afford it, that's the question. Like, yeah, you feel like you can afford it at that moment, but it's costing you your ability to build a plan that will be sustainable for you in the long term. So that's what lifestyle servitude is about. And that's why the sidewalk is dangerous, because it doesn't really matter your income ability. You might be earning really well, but at the end of the day, you're still stuck in the sidewalk, because if anything happens to your source of income, you find out that you'll not be able to maintain your life for something like a year or 2 years. And that's dangerous, because your empire might just come crumbling down on you. So now, let's take it to slow lane. So in this slow lane, MJ made this he gave this illustration where he says that if somebody poisons a drink, cyanide is a very poisonous substance. If someone pours cyanide in a drink and hands it to you and you drink it, you will die. It doesn't matter whether it's your father that handed you that drink, whether it's your brother, whether it's a priest. It doesn't even matter whether they know that that drink is poisonous, but you will die. So um, that illustration is trying to describe the fact that most of the time we are giving advice, traditional advice is on things like money and some other aspects of life from people who we trust. And those people, it's not like they have the intention of misleading us, but they do not know that that information they're giving to us is not actually the right information. So at the end of the day, they still end up misleading us, even though that was not their intention. So that's what the slow lane is all about. The slow lane throws a big shade and some serious question marks on all the traditional things you've heard about how you can get rich. The traditional advice is okay, save a certain portion of your salary if you're a salary earner, because most people in the slow lane, yeah, they are employees. So the salary earner, you save 30% of your income. At the end of the day, you invest it in some 401k, pension stuff, fixed deposits, certificate of deposits. The Yankee ones, they have S&P 500, um, Roth IRA, and stuff like that. And then you wait for a very long period of time, let me say 20, 30 years of repeating the same process year by year in your working years. So that after a very long time, due to compound interest, you find out that after 30 years, your retirement funds must have matured and you live la vida loca. But the cost of that is your youthfulness. That's number one. And also, MJ reveals the fact that that journey, even though it seems safe, is not so safe. Not everybody makes it down that follows that plan, makes it down that path successfully. The chances of you turning out, following that plan, sticking to that plan, and turning out all right is actually quite slim. Not everybody, people do it and succeed, but the chances are still quite slim. It's not a as given as it is said to be. And also the trade-off is your youthfulness. You are not going to drive the young Lamborghini as a young man now, and is it as an old man when your back is paining you that you'll be trying to bend down to come out from the coupe with the suicide doors? It does not make sense. So I mean, everybody wants to live a good life when they are young. So if you're following the slow lane, you are trading. That's a trade-off you're accepting wholeheartedly to make. That you are going to sacrifice today in the hope that sometime in the distant future you start enjoying. So that's the opposite of the slow lane. The slow laners don't give a fuck about tomorrow. They want to enjoy now, now, now. I want it now. And then the slow laners, uh, they are like all about the future. One day when my retirement funds land, I'm going to carry my old wife and we are going to go on vacation. But when it comes that time, we are probably down, sick as fuck, tired. Even traveling will not be sweeting you like that. So life is best lived young. That's the flaw of the slow lane. And also, what makes the slow lane so dangerous is something MJ described as limited leverage. Because as a slow laner, your income is bound to two factors, which is your intrinsic factor. Your intrinsic factor is your ability to earn. Different people have different intrinsic factors due to their academic qualification, experience, or skill set. So, two different people do not earn the same this thing. So, the higher qualified person, the more experienced person, the more skilled person earns more. Let me say you are very skilled, you are very qualified, and cool. You are earning like $1,000 an hour. And then the second variable to that equation is time. So when it comes to time, there are only 24 hours in a day now. You can only work 12 hours. That's if you can work so hard, you work 12 hours. That's 12K daily, which is very, very high, you know. I'm saying not that some people that are categorized in this slow lane, obviously the top 10% of the slow laners will be fine. Those are the employees of very well to do companies, the high executives that get really paid well, So, but let's bring it down to the average Joe in that equation. Let me say you're earning $20 an hour and you manage to be working 12 hours daily. That's $240 per day. You know, your time is tied to your money, and the only thing you can actually change, you cannot all of a sudden manufacture more time to work in a day. So what you can do is to increase your intrinsic value. That's why you see some people trying to go back to school to get a PhD, doctorate degree, trying to do one or two programs that will increase their intrinsic value. That's their ability to earn more so that their place of work now will be paying them higher. So, because of the confined nature of the two factors involved in that equation, there's not really much that you can do, and there's not much that is in your control. And even if time wise, if you push yourself too much, you will break down. So, that's it for the slow lane, the limited leverage that they have. Now, on to the last part of the equation, which is the fast lane. The fast lane now is functions on one major law. He spoke about the law of attraction. I've heard about the law of attraction from so many people, so many sources, which is to think about the things you want and try and align yourself with those things so that you can attract them into your life. But he said that the fast lane is powered by the law of affection, that you should leave attraction and focus on affection. The people that rule the world are the people that affect the world the most, in the sense that he even goes down to narrow your net worth to the amount of people your life affects. So let me say If you have a business that is serving 1,000 people, you are not expected to be more well to do financially than a business in the same market that is serving 10,000 people or even 100,000 people. So the more people you affect, the more people you serve, the more people you provide value to is directly correlated to your financial well-being. So that's what the law of affection is. And Fastlane is all about having a business that can affect a lot of people, that can serve a lot of people, because it provides something he calls the unlimited leverage. The unlimited leverage is the opposite of the slow lane limited leverage. Now, for a fast lane, the factors involved for a fast lane, you know how we said for slow laners, what determines their income is their intrinsic value, that's their earning ability and the time they work. For the fast laners, what determines their income is net profit and the value of the asset, which is a business. Let me say, if you have a business that provides a net profit of $10,000 at the end of the month, sorry, I say dollars, but naira is useless as fuck now. So it's best you start calculating in dollars if you have not started already. So now that business provides $10,000. That's net profit. And then let me say the value of the asset is $100,000. So these are the two metrics involved. Now, to be able to increase the net profit is made up of the profit of a single unit of whatever it is your business is providing. Whatever, let me say your business is into selling airpods. So you sell this airpod and you make $50. That's your profit per unit. And then how many of these airpods can you sell? That's scale. So let me say you sell 100 of these airpods. 100 times 50 is 5,000. So in these two equations now, you can either increase your profit to $60 on this AirPod, or you can increase the amount of the AirPods you sell to impact your net profit. So thinking about the law of affection, assuming your business is selling to 10,000 customers, you know that your profit is increasing. So a business gives you the ability to control some of the factors in your wealth equation. That's where the unlimited leverage comes in, because you can manipulate the factors there. You can increase the amount of people you sell to, or you can increase the amount of profit you make. Now, on net asset value, your asset value is also dependent on your net profit and also your industrial standard. Because let me say him, MJ, he sold his company, and when he was selling his company, his company was valued at how much the net profit they are providing in a year times the industry standard, which is an internet company. Let me say, if you are generating, if you sell, you have a business that sells airports and you are generating 100,000 net profit at the end of the day, somebody can comfortably come and buy that business from you, maybe two, $300,000. That would be the value of that business. So this is basically what the fasting is all about. Building a business, it does not have to be a traditional business that you need so much capital and co to get involved. There's smarter ways to approach businesses these days. But building a business that can affect so many people, that is literally what the fasting is about. And from him, he says that you can actually leverage the principle of all these investments in this low lane. All those investments I listed out earlier, it's not that they are bad, but what makes them a bad advice, what makes it poisonous to the slow laners is that the fact that you do not have enough leverage in the capital that you are investing in this in these investments to begin with. Most investments that are going to yield something tangible in the near future are capital intensive. Let me take, for example, a certificate of deposit, which is like a fixed deposit with an average bank. Let me say they're paying you 5% yearly return on your capital. A slow learner does not have $1 million to invest straight away. He has to save for a very, very long time to get that money. But somebody that has succeeded in the fast lane can easily, you know, have access to $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. And when you invest that same money into that same slow lane investment vehicle, you can see that even at $1 million, 5% of $1 million is 50K. And 50K will go a long way for you. You understand? And you don't have to wait for plenty years before your investment can yield you that kind of amount of money. If you have, you can do the maths. The higher the capital you can be able to put down for this type of investments, the more worthwhile they become. And that is why they are contradictory to the slow laners, because they do not have access to that kind of capital at the beginning. And that's why they need to rely on compound interest of so many years. And what makes that so flawed is the fact that inflation is going to be increasing as time goes by. So is something that is worth thinking about. Do you want to be in the slow lane? Do you want to be in the fast lane? Or do you want to keep stuck in the sidewalk? So yeah, that's that. I want to take this opportunity to encourage everybody to, talk more about money and money P, because it's very, very important. Let's not act like we are good, everything is Gucci, because this shit is very difficult, especially in this capitalist era, this extreme capitalist era that we are living in. Everybody needs to have their money P figured out. So let's make that a conversation. If you have better ideas or better topics to discuss, please put it down in the comment section. Subscribe if you want to, it's not a must. And peace.